And welcome to Street Beat, the official podcast of the Delaware County GOP. Thank you for being with us today. With us is Kathy Buckley, who's running to represent the people of Pennsylvania's 168th Legislative District. Kathy, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Welcome.
Let me let people know about the 168th. That part is Delaware County. It's Edgemont Township, Middletown Township, Newtown Township, and Radnor Township. Tell us, because for decades, this district was controlled by the GOP, but then it was lost to a Democrat. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you feel you can bring this back to the GOP and the people of the district?
Well, I have a little advantage. I grew up in Radnor, and then I moved to Edgemont. So I have two areas that I call home. Mm-hmm. I have two relatives that live in Newtown Square, and Middletown's the only one I don't have a relative in, but who knows? My kid's looking for a house. Who knows? He might end up in Middletown.
And I'll tell you what, your family seems to be everywhere. They were heavily involved in the rebuilding of I-95 after that horrible fire by that tanker that caught fire under it. And they were able to bring it back in record time, much sooner than anyone could ever conceive that they could bring a freeway. So you have people everywhere.
Yes, we do. And yes, we're involved, and I'm involved with the company too. And
that must have been a proud moment for you and your family that you were able to do that.
Yes. We were given 30 days, and we ended up getting it done in 11.
Wow.
So they pushed themselves beyond what I normally see, and it was very successful. They allowed us to redesign some issues, and it worked out in our favor. And we got it up and running faster.
And you're a small business owner.
Yes.
Yes. And you're running against State Representative Lisa Borowski, the first Democrat and woman to hold that seat. Tell us why you feel you can do a better job than she has done so far.
She forgot the people of the 168. Mm-hmm. She's more party issues, more everyone. This is my home. I want everyone involved. I want every issue that everyone has to be addressed. Mm-hmm. Right now, she only sends emails to the Democrat Party, and she never includes anyone else. Mm-hmm. And it seems like it's very one-sided all the time. And I'm trying to open it up, that I want to hear from everyone. I don't care if it's one side or the other. It doesn't matter. It's the 168. I want to be middle of the road, include everyone.
And what are the people of the 168 telling you?
They're sick of getting taxed for things that they don't care about. Mm-hmm. The taxes keep going up. You're going to have senior citizens that can't afford to stay there because their taxes keep going up, and they have nothing to do with the school. They get no benefit from it, but their taxes are going so high, they're going to get forced out of their house. And everyone wants a good school. Yeah. And Radnor is a fantastic school, mm-hmm. and it is well funded. But now they're overkilling the funding in it, that they're forcing the seniors out.
Why is it that we can't help seniors, that they've already paid their dues, they've raised their families, they've lived a good life, and now they're just trying to survive, and they're still receiving these big tax bills from school districts? Why aren't they exempt at a certain age and say, after this age, you no longer have to pay all these school taxes. You've done your job. Thank you.
And they can. Other states have frozen their taxes. Once they get above a certain age, they freeze them. So they aren't getting hit with what we might have, like a 30%.
That runs them out of their homes.
Yes.
Because they can't afford it anymore.
Yes.
What a shame that, it's heartbreaking because you see these families having to move, these elderly people having to move out of their homes because they can't afford the taxes anymore.
Yes. And that's what I want to prevent. They lived their whole life there. They bought a house. They've raised their family there, and now they're getting forced out because of these taxes, and it's unfair to them. They did their time. They worked their, I was going to say butt off. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it.
That's allowed.
Okay. They worked their whole life, and now they should be able to enjoy their senior years in comfort in their house.
Hear. I agree with that 100%. What are some of the other issues you feel that people want addressed that you're hearing about and you want to do something about in the 168th?
Well, if you've gone through Wayne and just look around, there's no businesses anymore in there. They are forcing out they have increased rent and there's no foot traffic anymore. They keep taking away the parking, so no one is parking there to go into the stores. I mean, when you see Margaret Quo's restaurant, her original restaurant closed down, something's wrong. And they said she retired. I understand that. She is entitled to do that, but Granite Run Mall is still open and the media one's still open. So something happened in Wayne. And it's a combination. They're taxing the daylights out of the businesses. They're not helping them. They ticket like crazy for the parking. There a few minutes extra, you're going to get a $25, $35 ticket. And if they were a little nicer and say after 6 o'clock, parking's free, maybe you'll have more people going to the restaurants and the businesses. They are doing everything, I think, to hurt the businesses, and they have to be more business friendly.
And why do you feel that they're doing this? What are they doing? What is the reason? Where is all this money going?
If they get rid of the businesses, they can build new apartments, high end, hopefully get it from the rent. They don't want the old fashioned stores anymore. And they really are hurting themselves because the businesses do bring everyone and make it a community. And they're getting rid of them. And they have to stop.
Do you feel like they're robbing Peter to pay Paul, so to speak, where they're taking all this money over here to go do something else with it, because they have a pet project that they want to address?
And there's a lot of pet projects. Right now,
wasteful spending.
A lot of wasteful spending, and we have to cap it. Just recently, they had a grant which I'm in favor of, for a new cedar roof on Mills property right there on Gradyville Road. I'm not Gradyville, Goshen Road, and 252. And they donated $100,000 for the cedar roof. And I don't think anyone's in the building.
You're kidding.
I don't think anyone lives there. No one uses it. And it's a historical landmark. But why would you spend $100,000 on a grant for a cedar roof when that should be raised by donations?
Yes, that's the thing.
It should not be a tax bid.
Historical-minded people that want to raise funds to keep something going. That's where you normally handle it.
Yes, but they gave $100,000 for that, for a new roof. And how can you justify it? A normal roof would be $30,000. I know you want to keep it traditional and looking great, but you have to own up to the taxpayers. You could get a basic roof for $30,000, but you're spending over $100,000 for a cedar, and the money's coming out of you, $70,000 that you could do something else with. I just can't see how you can ask the taxpayers the difference.
And did they even ask the taxpayers?
They did not ask.
I'm sure. Man, I'll tell you what. It's crazy because it seems that a lot of politicians, they go in there and they stop listening to their constituents and they do what they feel should be done, like this kind of project. And I'm sure there are a lot more like those kinds of projects.
I'm sure. The more I get into it, the more I investigate her history, the worse it gets. She gave a tax break to Pittsburgh for people there that have lived over 10 years, but it was on the table to give Radnor the same tax break, and she voted it down.
Really?
Yes.
The own people that she represents, she voted it down?
Yes.
That's sad.
Yes.
Now, what is it, Kathy, that you want the people of the 168th to know about you?
Well, let's start with, I grew up in Radnor. I lived there my whole life. Radnor's one of my homes. And now I live in Edgemont, and that is my second home. And I am entrenched in the community. I have had my kids in Nell in the baseball and ice hockey. And I also have a business that I'm running. And I have all the responsibilities in running a business. You have to keep in budget. You have to know your employees. You have to keep them safe. I am in charge of the EEO. So there's a lot of different hats that I wear in business that I can bring to the government and for this position, that I can use my skills for this job and keep everything in budget, but all the needs met.
And the issues that people are talking about.
Yes. Yes.
What are those that they want you to address?
The number
what
one
they're telling
thing
you right
is the economy. I mean, they go in the grocery store, they can't afford anything.
now. Yeah.
Well, inflation is caused by the government spending with no backing to it. You have no product. So if you keep throwing money out there, everything's going to cause inflation, and everything is going to cost more. So you have to control the inflation. It's unfair if you go to the grocery store and last week chicken was $5 and now it's 10
Yeah.
and you've done nothing. The chicken's still the same, the farm's still the same, but the prices are so high because everything else costs a lot. You have gas prices going up. People can't afford gas in their house. They have to choose. Am I going to wear 5 sweaters tonight in the wintertime, or am I going to pay extra for the gas prices? I mean, this impacts everything.
How can you bring your sense of running a business and knowing how to keep budgets together into a legislative district and use those same principles to try to keep the legislative district going and operating properly?
Well, it's easy. You just look where you can cut costs and where you have to keep the cost.
And not funding the
and
$100,000
not-
cedar roofs and things
The
of that sort.
fluff has to go, and that's what I call it. The little, whatever they call it, pork projects or fluff, you have to keep them at a minimum. Some of them are very useful and needed, but a lot of them are overfunded. And you have to hit the core things like a school, a new road, everything that everyone needs. You have to address first and then look at the fluff, and maybe the fluff you cut back a little.
Well, you're in a very close race right now, and we're in the just a few days from November 5th, the general election. What would you say to people who are yet undecided or maybe didn't give it a thought yet to vote for you? What would you tell them?
I'm willing to work 24/7 like I do right now. We do snow removal, and I'm used to working nonstop for days to get the job done. And if you put me in the office, I'm not going to lay and hide in the basement for a year that no one even saw and be out there working every day. You're going to see me, and I am going to include everyone. It's not going to be a party thing. It's going to be, I represent the 168. I represent everyone, and I'm going to work to get it done.
And do you feel sometimes you might have to wheel and deal to get what it is you're trying to get?
Every day we have to be a partnership with every different agency. We work well with PennDOT. We work well with the city of Philadelphia. We work well with the unions. We work well with everyone. So every day you have to show respect to your coworkers and partnerships and get the job done. You can't go in there with an attitude, oh, I don't want to work with them. You always have to
Or
work
my
with
way or the highway.
That's exactly it. You
that's not
always
gonna
have to compromise. And when it comes to budget time, I plan to work with everyone and get it done within time under budget.
Can I ask you, your opponent, Lisa Borowski, you guys were supposed to debate. What happened?
They canceled on me.
Borowski canceled?
Well, it was the League of Women Voters took the hit for it, but she didn't want to have a live debate. She wanted it on Zoom with the questions already given, with maybe answers given, and I wanted a live debate and get questions from the floor.
Not scripted. You wanted the people to participate as part of this whole thing.
The questions.
And they said no?
And they said no.
Why would they say no to something like that?
That's a good question. You would have to ask them why they would not do the debate. I was very upset and I was ready for it. And they canceled 2 days before the debate.
She couldn't take questions from her own constituents.
Nope. I don't think she wants to own up to her record.
Wow. And talking about record, there are a lot of people that are sticklers about, well, what about your record? What is your educational background?
Okay. I have a civil engineer degree, concentrated in structures and construction management. And then I also have a commerce and engineer. And my concentrations were operation management and human resources. They were both from Drexel. And since then, I continue my education. I have to do points to keep professional engineer. So I keep on going, and I have my OSHA 30 as well as trench. I can be the expert on trenching.
Well, you must be doing something right because you were named the Republican of the Year in Delaware County.
Yes, I was last year.
That's awesome.
It was a great honor. I'm very new to politics, and when you get an honor like that, it's fantastic.
Wow. You know, a lot of people also want to know, who is this lady? Is she from out of town? Is she one of those, or is she one of us? How long has she been in Delco? Is she really one of us? Tell us a little bit about that?
I've been here since birth. I am not a transplant.
You're a Delco?
I am Delco through and through. I keep getting told I'm Delco light. Because
what does that mean? You don't know how to say the certain words a certain way?
No. I say water, and yes, I'm going to get hoagies from the Wawa. Yes, it slips out.
Yeah.
They were just saying that I was not from Aston, but when my kids were playing ice hockey, I was the manager for the Delco Phantoms, and they found out I wasn't Delco light. I can bring out the real Delco.
Oh, well, you're one of those then. You know, she knows all the sports, and she's in there with the rest of them, you know, getting dirty and, you know, punching and inching every way to get that score.
Yes. I was in a few arguments with some of the other teams about different things, issues. We disagreed on if the check was fair or not. And I've had a few scrapples with the refs. But yes, I would be considered Delco.
Hockey moms are built different?
Definitely. We go all in for our kids. And I'm not only a hockey mom, my son, one of them, was the goalie. So not only am I a hockey mom of the other son, I was also the goalie mom. And we are definitely built different.
Well, I tell you what, I know a little bit about that because my son was a hockey goalie and my daughter also played hockey. She was one of those rough and tough and wanted to get in there and play hockey. I always let my kids do what they wanted to do. I never try to impose myself on them. If she wanted to play hockey, she should play hockey. What do you say to that?
Oh, definitely. I've went to Iceworks many times in Iceline, and I loved watching the girls ice hockey. They were adorable. And on my son's team, he played for a high school. It was co-ed.
Yeah.
And it was very interesting because I loved the little ponytails sticking out, but they were tougher than nails. They were in there and they play hockey different, but it's not a bad thing. They are quicker, they're faster, and they're smarter. And they move their little bodies up there, and they're right in the net before you know it. I'm Kathy Buckley, and I'm asking for your vote. Vote for me on November 5th.
Kathy Buckley, running for the 168th Legislative District. We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us today. We'll see you again soon.